Good evening and welcome to this special edition of the Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. I'm Madhavdas G and viewers, we're going to be taking you through over the next half an hour as to what really are the possibilities of India making Pakistan pay. Pakistan will have to pay. That's the statement that has been made by India unequivocally. The Prime Minister has said that India will hunt down the terrorists to the ends of the earth and they will be mixed with dust. That is a very clear statement coming in from the Prime Minister. But what's happening on ground? The Army Chief is in Jammu and Kashmir. We have seen the Indian Air Force in a high state of preparedness. There is an exercise where our best of fighter aircraft, whether it's the Rafales, whether it's the Sukhois, all have been pressed into various exercises and all are in a state of preparedness. What really are the possibilities of the Indian Air Force if it is indeed pressed into service, as is quite likely? To understand and to analyze that, we have our guests with us. But before we get you to our guests, let's take a look at what are the possibilities in terms of what we can expect in terms of Pakistan and what India's options are militarily speaking, and of course as far as the Air Force is concerned. Take a quick look at what we are talking about, and there are various Indian Air Force bases, of course, as far as different parts of India are concerned. There is, of course, Ambala, where in fact our Rafales are, Batinda as well. There is an Air Force station which is very close, in fact, to the international border. There is Pathankot and Hadwara that were just mentioned over there, where there are, of course, all sorts of aircraft that are present as well. When you talk about the targets in Pakistan, we're talking about the possibility, if India chooses to strike as far as the ISI headquarters in Islamabad is concerned, it's 511 kilometers from the Ambala Air Force Station. The Ambala Air Force Station is also, of course, 502 kilometers from the Pak Army General's headquarters there in Rawalpindi. The Punjab Provincial Headquarters is, of course, also about 264 kilometers from the Ambala Air Force Station, and, of course, other such targets as well that we'll be looking at, primarily in POK as well, from where, of course, all the terror has been emanating. We'll quickly take you through all of these aspects, but let me introduce our guest. Joining us at the moment with us is Colonel Tej Tikku, retired defense expert. Group Captain UK Debnath is a retired defense expert with us. Air Marshal Sanjeev Kapoor is also with us, and Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni also joins us on the show. Let me start with you first. Group Captain Debnath, to actually look at these targets, we don't know what the government is actually planning, but these are some of the highest value targets that one would imagine as far as Pakistan is concerned. Of course, we know that POK is where terror emanates from, but if we do need to actually strike at these targets, India, particularly now that we are armed with the Rafale and the Scalp missile, do we really need to go into Pakistan, or does our current military hardware ensure that we can stay very well within our own airspace and launch an attack on Pakistan?
Oh, definitely. As far as POK is concerned, we can easily go up to our LOC and launch our weapons from there. Rafales are there, Sukhoi-30 are there, Scalp missile, you said, it can hit an enemy target up to a range of 300 kilometers. So definitely, if there are political compulsions and not to go into Pakistan proper, we can stay this side of LOC and fire Scalp type of weapons which will go and penetrate the targets assigned to us. It must be said, targets are assigned to Indian Air Force in such a critical, small surgical strikes will be cleared by Government of India, by NSA Secretariat. Yes. And I must tell you that legally POK remains part of India. So we can, if required, we can penetrate, go and enter POK, because as per all international norms, POK remains part of India. And it is our prerogative to use all means at disposal of Government of India to control any unwanted mischievous elements within our territory.
All right. Let me also bring in Air Marshal Dr. Sanjeev Kapoor. Air Marshal Sanjeev Kapoor, in terms of India's options when it comes to striking as far as Pakistan is concerned, number of options that are on the table. We will not second guess what the government can do. We are only showing what are the possible options. Of course, there are many more, but just in terms of the top targets as far as India is concerned, in your view, if we are going to carry out an air-based operation, how would you see that happening, and how are we better prepared than, for instance, when we struck as far as Balakot is concerned?
See, it will be a conjuncture at this stage to guess what and where and when we would strike. these decisions are never discussed in open, and I don't think so any one of us on the TV are well informed or capable of commenting on that. Needless to say, 2019 was the last when we had a skirmish of Balakot. A lot of water has flown in since then. We are better prepared in form of tactics. We've done a lot of tabletop and actual exercises. Our weaponry has improved. The arsenal has Rafales which are not there in 2019. A lot of upgrades have taken place. The next thing which your viewers should keep in mind is the two ongoing conflicts of Russia, Ukraine, and Israel, Hamas has brought in a new paradigm to war fighting. Before these conflicts began, which Russia-Ukraine war is now over 1,000 days old, the concept was that all wars were going to be short and swift wars. It was perceived that the international community will then intervene and the war or some ceasefire kind of a thing can happen. Now, once we have seen that the wars are prolonging more than 3 years, even the Israel-Hamas war, which started on 7th of October 2023, nearly 1.5 years, and is ongoing. This brings in challenges of logistics, weapons, petrol, oil, gases, rotables, spares, supply chains. Also, we have seen the usage of space-based applications and drones in a big way. The tactics used during the Russia-Ukraine war, every week the tactics are changing. So I'm sure all these topics, as we speak, are being discussed in our war rooms to see as to how we can adapt the lessons from these campaigns and be better prepared to take on the enemy. Mind you, they are also professional armed forces. And once they have taken the decision to strike us, they are prepared. As you have covered in your previous channels and other forums, that they want to take away the mind of a common Pakistani away from their internal problems. Right. From Khyber Pakhtunkhwa to Balochistan to Sindh to water crisis to inflation to other things. So a common man once taken into the aggression kind of a thing by enemy, which is India in their case, right. The administration feels that they can take it away. Okay. But needless to say, we will strike and the place would be of our choice.
Absolutely. The time and place will be of India's choosing, given what Pakistan has already done and must pay. That's the larger message going on. But let's also take you through what the latest intelligence inputs accessed by Times Now established in terms of Pakistan's terror factory across the border and the fact that it's operational and expanding southward. Let's take a quick look at where all the Pak terror camps are present. Let's quickly take you through what we're talking about. And this is the information coming in at this point of time. Opposite the Jammu region, it is, of course, in the Kotli area, in the Barmala, Sialkot area, in Pandori, in Bimbargali. There's also Khuireta, Nikyal in the Kotli Batal area, Rawalkot, Chirkot forward, Kahuta as well. Opposite the Kashmir Valley, we're talking about Batta Halan, Bagh Cham, Muzaffarabad, Yadori, Lipa, Jura, Neelam and Domoil. These are some of the prominent areas where, in fact, the Pakistan terrorist camps are present. Let's also take you through what about India's presence as far as our own military hardware is concerned and our Air Force, in fact, jets are concerned. India has about 36 Rafale jets in its arsenal, a capability that was missing during the 2019 Balakot strike when India used Mirage 2000 fighter jets. Rafales give India a superior air combat edge in the region. India now holds the Rafale jets in 2 squadrons based in Ambala and Hashimara in West Bengal. Let's also take a quick look at the missiles which are part of the weapon system of these Rafale jets and their respective range. We're talking about the Meteor, a long-range air-to-air missile. The range is 100+ kilometers. We're talking about the Mica, which is an air-to-air interception, combat and self-defense missile. We're talking about a range of 60 to 80 kilometers here. Scalp is a long-range standoff missile as well that we were discussing earlier with a range of up to 500 kilometers. Let's quickly take this back to our guests. And in fact, there's some breaking news coming in at the moment. Let's quickly tell our viewers what is the information that we have accessed. This is the information coming in. Indian agencies keeping a close watch on Pakistan's increased troop deployment along the LOC. Fearing a backlash, Pakistan has strengthened its defenses and ordered its soldiers to conduct surveillance strictly from within bunkers. Pakistan is feeling threatened not just along the LOC but also along the international border. The Pakistan Army's 10 Corps, headquartered in Rawalpindi, has also been put on alert by the Army Chief. Similarly, the Sialkot division, located directly opposite the international border and headquartered in Gujranwala, has been put on alert too. Indian Air Force's Central Air Command is conducting exercise Aakraman, and the aim of the exercise is to ensure full combat readiness in war scenarios. Let me bring in Colonel Tej Tikku as well. All right, let me quickly bring in Priyank first before I go across to our guest. Priyank, this clearly shows how Pakistan is spooked, and clearly at some level or the other, Pakistan is taking all steps to ensure that it is battle ready. It is completely spooked by India's diplomatic measures and is fearing the worst of consequences.
Yeah, Madhav, because Pakistanis know that when Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that water and blood cannot flow together, that step has been taken and the treaty has been, pulled back. Now, what we are getting to know that since the time this attack happened, I'm here in Pulwama, there was a massive development which was happening across the border where the Pakistani air base was seen very much active. Later to that, what we have got to know that there have been a series of mobilization of the resources of the Pakistani army towards the line of control. What we also saw, the videos which came out from Uri sector, that the Indian army is moving very fast and they have been keeping a close watch on any kind of infiltration, because there are two things that Pakistanis can do. One, send their proxy soldiers, just like what we have seen in the past. Two of them have been gunned down yesterday itself. And the second one is to wait and watch for India's action in terms of Indian army is concerned. Today also we saw that Indian aircrafts and the fighter jets were flying above Pahalgam and other sectors, which is certainly giving a clear-cut indication that the Pakistanis are also keeping a close watch on any kind of further advancement which can happen from Indian soil. That's why Indian Air Force and Army is highly on alert. The President has been briefed yesterday by the EAM as well as by the Home Minister regarding the development with respect to on-ground as well as diplomatic things are concerned.
All right, big development coming in there. Priyank, stay with us. Let me bring in fact, Colonel Tej Tikku on this. Colonel Tej Tikku, the big point ultimately is this, that you have a situation where Pakistan is clearly spooked. It knows that it is responsible as much as may choose to distance or deny. And the fact that India will strike at a time and place of its choosing is something that Pakistan is fearing at the moment.
Absolutely. You see, the point is like this, that unless you degrade Pakistan's fighting capability, the militants will continue to operate. It is Pakistan's deep state which is sending these militants, which is producing these militants, which is sponsoring them, financing them, training them, and sending across. Therefore, even if you destroy launch pads, even if you destroy their handlers, it is not going to end the problem as we expect it to end. Therefore, what is needed is that you have to destroy Pakistani military assets as much as you can, whether you use naval forces, whether you use army, whether you use air force. Yes, air force, we are talking more about air force because they have the reach. They are so flexible that they can go anywhere and reach any target. Information is already available with you. That is point number one. Therefore, destroying Pakistani military assets should be our first objective. Whether you have to destroy them on their aircraft on ground, whether to destroy their radars, whether you have to destroy their other logistic petrol dumps, so that they are not able to fight a war with India and sponsor these militants. Second point is, while you are doing this, all these launch pads that we have destroyed, or their training areas which are little away from the line of control, those must be also destroyed at the same, because you have to go all out now. There is no question of doing anything half-hearted. You did it in Balakot. It has not stopped the Pakistani deep state from infiltrating. Third point is, Pakistan's biggest nightmare is lack of strategic drift.
Right.
Because if you fly an aircraft from Amritsar, it will cross Pakistan, recross Pakistan, go again, come back again. So that is the advantage we have, and that is what we must exploit as much as possible. Third point I want to say, that jurisdiction into Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir is not not the point at all. We struck at Balakot, which was deep inside Pakistan.
Right.
Therefore, that is not a restraining factor at all, because when India takes a decision, every solution, every option is on the table, and we will select that option which does maximum damage to
Okay,
Pakistan.
let me bring in Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni now. Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, we saw Khwaja Asif's statement, and in fact, in his statement today, he has completely exposed Pakistan, where he says that at one level we've been doing US's dirty work for the past 3 decades, but he has also threatened, the use of nuclear weapons. Now, this is a bogey that has been called out, whether we talk about what has happened between Russia and Ukraine or several other conflicts in the past as well. And can Pakistan this time round afford to shield itself, using that particular threat of nuclear war and the fact that the two countries are nuclear armed?
Madhav, definitely not. Pakistan will not use nuclear war. This is a sheer bogey, or whatever it might be, because Pakistan knows that India also has enough of them. So there's no question of Pakistan wanting to do it. We saw it in Kargil, even that at that point of time, that bluff was called off. That is the first thing. Secondly, as whatever has been said, is known fact. Pakistan was responsible for training of the Taliban to prepare Taliban at the behest of the United States of America at a point of time when it was to be launched against the Soviet Union. And subsequently again, when Pakistan did create all these assets, it is subsequently, even though for America itself, Pakistan did provide bases to United States to be able to operate in Afghanistan. So there is no denying the fact that Pakistan has all along been preparing all these terrorist organizations, and in turn they've used those against India. And whatever he might say, he might repent that it was their blunder, they ought not to have done, or whatever it be so. But Pakistan was responsible, and these assets are being used, and therefore even when Pakistan, America, having pulled out from Afghanistan, have left behind $7 billion worth of military equipment, much of it they were in good relations in the initial few months. I'm sure Pakistan has taken away a lot of them, because you can see they're being operated when the terrorists are operating in India. They are equipped with the American weapons. They are also equipped with the night vision devices and also the various stuff that has been left by the Americans. So there is no denying the fact. As regards Pakistan itself is concerned, obviously they are on the back foot. They are now scared. They are very hesitant, because something that they've been doing it for a long, long time, that block has to be called off. Pakistan has to be dealt now. There is no denying the fact, because enough is enough. Since 47 until date, we've been rather nice. We've been rather hoping against hope that Pakistan would, follow international laws and not indulge in using terrorism as an instrument of state policy. But it has not improved. And now what it has done in Pahalgam, very well knowing that it is Pakistan, there is no denying, because even every footprint, even the speeches made by the chief and the subsequent action that has happened in Pahalgam, even before that, what Pakistan was doing is clearly indicative that Pakistan has asked for it and Pakistan will get it. And the Prime Minister has stated it very clearly: when, how, which targets, how it is to be done, militarily, diplomatically, politically, and all of it together. Well, that's for the government of India to decide.
Well, absolutely. And with Pakistan, in fact, going ahead and saying that all this is an act of war, perhaps setting the stage for India to take decisive action. Colonel Tej Tikku, Group Captain UK Devnath, Air Marshal Dr. Sanjeev Kapoor, and Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening.